He grew up as a small city boy in the Midwest. In spite of his best efforts at becoming an outdoorsman, he never really fit in with the hunting, camping, and fishing crowd. In the next few minutes, you'll learn why. With this speech entitled, Uncomplicated, please join me in welcoming City Slicker, David Goad.
How many of you grew up on a farm or somewhere out in the country? Let's see those hands. Okay. So I assume all the rest of you grew up as city kids like me. Yeah? Okay, well if you're like me, sometimes you feel a little uncomfortable out in the country. Right? Camping, hiking, fishing. I never know if I'm doing it right. Which is why I was a little nervous when my dad booked a fishing trip for me and my brothers at Lake Cumberland, somewhere in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky. Now, I'm not completely ignorant of country life. I've seen a few episodes of Hee Haw. And I've heard some of the jokes, like the hillbilly went into the doctor for a gunshot wound. And the doctor says, well, how'd you get all that buckshot in your backside? Well, my cousin asked me if I wanted to go a-hunting. All I said was, sure, I'm game. I didn't say they were good jokes. Now, when I got to Kentucky, I figured, how bad could it be? Well, how about a 5 a.m. wake-up call on a cold, wet, foggy morning? And I'm clutching my coffee up under my chin as I walk down that long, desolate dock. And that's when I saw the sign. Hillbilly Fishing Guides. Oh, Dad, come on, are you serious? No, trust me, son. This guy's good. I looked down at the boat, and there's this older guy kind of hunched over the bait bucket, wearing camouflage boots, yellow rain jacket, and a red, white, and blue baseball cap. And his face looked kind of like a cross between Forrest Gump and Yoda. He turned and smiled and said, morning, fellers. I'm Captain Gerald Bates, and I'll be taking y'all out today. Oh, hi, Captain Bates. I'm David Goad. Nice to meet you. Now, Bates, kind of a funny name for a fishing guide, isn't it? Fish bait. Is that your real name? He wasn't laughing. He just cocked his head and said, well, aren't you the smart one? Yeah, my name's Captain Gerald Bates. Is that a coffee stain on your jacket? Oh, maybe look, funny joke. Now I knew what I was up against. Self-proclaimed hillbilly, not about to take any trash from a city slicker. I can respect that. But the battle of wits was on. And I thought he was unarmed. I mean, he could only get out about 4 words before he had to take a breath. Not because breathing was hard, but because he needed the time. Like the way he chewed his nicotine gum. 1 chew per second. I live my life in the fast lane. I work in the high-speed world of high tech. I haven't had a relaxing moment since November of '94. But Captain Bates is a slow-moving bass boat, giving no wake zone a whole new meaning. My dad piped up again. Now, Gerald here has been a professional fishing guide for over 27 years. 2-time Kentucky state champion and 1-time national champion for catching the big stripers that live right here in Cumberland Lake. I looked over and I could see a little championship patch right on the front of his cap. Now, have you ever seen a professional fishing guide in action? Anyone? In just 15 minutes, this guy had 8 rods in the water with the lines at the perfect angle away from the boat, creating a giant circle of death for any big stripers that might come in. Now, all we had to do was wait our turn. When we thought it had a bite on the line, you'd run over, grab the pole out of the holder, and fight it into the boat. Now, I was all jacked up on 3 cups of coffee. I was getting a little itchy for my turn, watching those poles waving up and down. And whenever I thought I had a bite, I'd reach for it, and Captain Bates would say, "Leave it," No, I think I got a fish. Leave it be. How about now? I'm telling you, Striper don't fool with you. When he takes it, you'll know it. Just then, I see one of the tips of those rods bounce 3 times fast. And I turn back to Captain Bates and apparently ask the stupidest question of the day. Are you sure? He didn't say a word. But he did lean forward just enough so I could see the championship patch on his hat. And he smiled. Okay, I guess you do know what you're doing. He looked me right in the eye and said, you bet your bass I do. And he did. By the end of the day, we had caught our limit of big stripers, 30 inches long, 25 pounds. I was actually starting to relax and enjoy myself. I said, hey, Captain Bates, those turkey vultures circling over there? Yep, them's buzzards. You might want to move around a little. Let them know you're live. We were actually starting to get along, now that I knew my place. And you know, I started to see the contrast between our 2 lives. We both had 24 hours in a day, but a lot more stuff happens in one of my hours than in one of his. In just 1 hour, I can juggle a WebEx meeting, 25 emails, 10 instant messages, and an intern asking me to fix the printer. Captain Bates can sit quietly for a whole hour without getting a bite, without saying a word. And that's still a productive use of time. And I looked over at him, looking just as pleased as a squirrel in a nut house. I said, you know, I'm going to take another shot in the battle of wits. Captain Bates, can I ask you a question? Well, it looks like you just did. No, seriously. What is the secret to happiness? He took off his championship cap, chewed his nicotine gum 4 times. And the secret to happiness is not knowing too much about what's going on around you. Oh, you mean like ignorance is bliss, right? Nah, I ain't ignorant. I just choose to be uninformed. Come on, you mean to tell me you don't even watch the news? Nope. But my wife, she started watching that CNN every night. She'd say, Gerald, it's so depressing. It's so depressing. I finally said, honey, you could change the channel. I may have saw the sunrise earlier that day, but it just now dawned on me. Captain Gerald Bates may have been a hillbilly, but he was not stupid. He was just uncomplicated. And for all of us city kids, thinking we're so smart, busting our butts 10 hours a day at some fancy high-tech company, consider this. Captain Gerald Bates gets to go fishing every day and get paid for it. I ask you, who's the smart one? Madam Dean.